Now listen, children can be annoying. I get it. But to unalive 6 of them for a seemingly random reason seems just a bit extreme, don't you think? Hi guys, Theory here. If there's one thing about the Fnaf theorist fandom that annoys me the most, it's how easily we end up disregarding something as useless when it's probably a free answer card. If you read the title or thumbnail, you probably know what I'm talking about. In Help 1 and 2's Secret Ending, we're supposed to light grave sites to progress, but doing them in a certain order opens up a secret passage where you find the Bonnie mask. This order is Chica, Foxy, Freddy, Bonnie, Golden Freddy, and then the puppet. This sequence implies that, of the missing children, Susie/Chica was the first, and Charlotte died after the fact. While it was at first only speculated to be the death order, Susie/Chica being the first really makes it true, because Withered Chica notoriously says,
"I was the first. I have seen everything,"
implying that she was the first of Afton's victims. Afton's first victim has been a highly contested idea throughout FNAF, with the main ones being Charlie and Cassidy. Looking back, I feel as though it was a little bit more obvious than we realized. I mean, Withered Chica literally says that she was the first, and Cassidy's title is The One You Shouldn't Have Killed, not The First, or The First One That You Have Killed. Anyways, Charlie coming afterward works fine, but it does add confusion to Henry's line, "A wound first inflicted on me." There appears to be something that we aren't completely cued in on. I think Rytoast is really onto something by suggesting that Henry might have been the one to make the fun times, or at least helped. It would give a good reason for William to have killed Charlotte. This still begs the question though, why are they child kidnapping machines? But before I continue further, this video is mostly about my thoughts on each death, as well as theorizing about the events surrounding them and how they affect each other. One of the biggest and most confusing points within the series is why the fun times are child moiters. Most assume it was resulted from William Afton learning about Remnant, but this has more holes than Swiss cheese. A lot of the other deaths that would result in William knowing about Remnant need some sort of prerequisite. I'll go more into this when I get to the deaths. This is what eventually led us to assume that Elizabeth was first. Almost everything lined up except for the damned fun times. My current theory is that at the time of Elizabeth's death, the fun times weren't designed for child kidnapping. Although we are shown the blueprints in Pizza Sim and Baby's Claw and Sister location, I don't think that's what they were originally designed for. I believe that came later on. In Help 1 and 2, the final Sister location minigame ends with Circus Baby giving you ice cream from the arm in her stomach. And look at that, it's an arm, not a claw. Not sure why I'm being overly sarcastic, but there's a chance that, and mind you, this is major speculation, that Elizabeth's death was just a freak accident. Something screwed up in the code to where she was attacked. This then causes A, William maybe goes cuckoo, and B, William learns about Remnant via Baby's eyes changing. Either way, bad things happen. This inevitably leads to the crying child's death, with the "don't you remember what you saw" being Elizabeth's death. Not much to say about his death, it's pretty cut and dry, bullied then crunched. Cut ahead roughly 2 years, and would you look at that, more dead children. This time intentional, because William killed them. Yeah, reasoning still somewhat unknown. We aren't sure if it was for Remnant, to tarnish Fazbear, or some third option that I can't think of. Cut ahead again, albeit this time for an unknown amount of time, and Charlotte is trapped outside an unknown pizzeria, and quickly Control-Alt-Deleted by, well, William. Then Midnight Motors presumably takes place. I'll do a video on that eventually, I just gotta figure it out first, because I have no clue currently what that is. Elizabeth's death appears to be the first domino. Her death leads William to modifying the fun times to be child kidnappers by sister location. We can actually go even further with this. We know, or rather believe, that after Charlotte's death, Henry disappears, and it's unlikely that William would alter the fun times while Henry is still around. This would mean that Charlotte died anywhere from 1985 to 1987. This gives a good cushion for the creation and possession of the puppet/security puppet. For the sake of the story, we're going to say that Charlotte's death and the puppet's creation happened in 1986. This would then cause Henry to be gone so William can alter the fun times. Here's the part where I talk about the problems with Charlotte's death. There appear to be a few instances in which Charlie's presumed or implied death is 1983, one being from the Silver Eyes novel, one being from the Fall Fest poster, and one being from Help 1 and 2. There very well might be more, but these are the only instances I could find. First off, it's my personal belief that the Silver Eyes novel is like a weird parallel to Mike's journey, if that makes sense. A child of a robotics engineer whose sibling was killed in 1983 by a yellow suit that their father's partner wore goes on a journey to find their sibling. Very dumbed down words, so I can understand if you don't feel the same about it, but to me that's what it looks like. This would mean that the date of death could be different in the game universe. I've had this idea or viewpoint for a while, I just never got to bring it up, which I did a video on the book, so I probably should have brought it up there, I don't know. Next, the Fall Fest poster is a nice metaphor if true. Crows surrounding the puppet implies death, but this being an in-universe poster likely means that it's just a poster without significant meaning besides, Fall Fest 83. Also, can I just say that the puppet makes for a terrible scarecrow? I mean, look at it, it's not scaring any of the crows. Finally, the Help 1 2 puppet doll. This one honestly was the hardest to figure out. Typing in 1983 into a number pad gives you the puppet doll. But why? From what I've seen, people assume that's when Charlie dies. But I don't see that being the case. The 1983 number pad is a reference to the Sister Location Easter egg in which typing 1983 into a number pad in the secret room opens up a security system that watches the Fnaf 4 house. On top of that, none of the other dolls seem to imply stuff about the characters besides maybe Golden Freddy. Foxy's in the Foxy game, Bonnie's in the Bonnie game, Chica's in the Chica game, Freddy's in a Phaser Blast game, Golden Freddy kinda weird. You have to make a Tombstone Soda on lockdown, not sure about that. So I'm not sure why this already existing Easter egg would hold such value, while the others of the same type would not. Anyways, I think this is substantial enough evidence to support my theory. In Sister Location, it seems to be implied that the Funtime rental service has been going for a while. And with our already tight time zones, Sister Location likely happens after FNAF 2. Purely to give breathing room. You could argue that Sister Location happened before FNAF 2, but I just don't see that working cohesively. From Henry leaving to the puppet's creation and all that jazz and the possession and yada yada, William would have to be working overtime on killing and crafting for that to work. Now that I've explained my thinking, I want to go over why the other children don't really work as the first kill. First off, Cece was assumed to be the first for a while, with it being the earliest shown date, that being 1983. But the main problem with Cece is that the Fredbear plush says, "Don't you remember what you saw?" which implies something major happened before the events of the FNAF 4 dreams, or rather what the FNAF 4 dreams are about. This doesn't outright state that there was a death, but considering all the possibilities, it's the most likely. And I haven't even mentioned the FNAF 4 bedroom that is just completely empty. Next up is Charlotte, aka the puppet. This was originally the most suspected one to be the first death, because they were the one to put the spirits to the suits. Give gifts, give life, and all that jazz. The main problem with Charlotte is that the security puppet has to be in place for this to happen. But for the security puppet to be in place, something must have happened to cause such a safety concern that would warrant a security puppet. Hi, editor theory here. I just want to quickly clarify that I'm saying that the security puppet was made, not just the puppet itself. Puppet itself was old, very old. In this Fall Fest thing, we can see that. I just want to make sure that there's no confusion. I didn't do something stupid, don't worry. And I kind of know what I'm talking about, somewhat-ish. Anyways, this is the same problem that Cece had. A previous domino had to have fallen for the circumstances to be met. And can I just rant for a moment about the name Charlotte? I've been pronouncing and spelling it wrong this whole time. I've been spelling it as Charolette, and pronouncing it Charlotte. But in reality, it's Charlotte. Charlotte, whatever. Makes me feel like an idiot considering I read the Silver Eyes trilogy. But in my defense, she's called Charlie through most of it. Third up, Susie. Finally, Cassidy. We only know of 4 major events involving the death of children. Bite of 83, Elizabeth's death, MCI, and Charlotte's death. Because of this, Cassidy has to fit in one of them, and the only one that would allow that is the MCI. And for the MCI to happen, William would have to have a reason, like gathering remnant or throwing dirt on Fazbear's name, to kill. Cece's and Elizabeth's death are perceivable accidents, while the MCI and Charlotte's death are actual intended murders. There's a clear switch in tone in this story, in which deaths are no longer a design flaw, but rather an intended action. Cassidy's known as the one you should not have killed, which places her in that latter half of deaths. This also puts Susie in the latter half of deaths as well, but I just really wanted to make a light jab at theorists because how often they ignore Susie. I hope this explains my reasoning for putting Elizabeth as the earliest death. The glove fits better on her than anyone else. It sounds weird considering what we've thought up until now, but then again, most of the major theories, for the longest time, came from MatPat, who hasn't had the greatest of track records when it's come to recent FNAF theories. Gregbot. But with this recent retirement, it's now up to us as a community, and Tom. So, editor theory here again. Sorry for another cut-in. Yeah, so I recorded this like a month before Tom's first Fnaf theory came out. I didn't realize he was the one who made the Gregbot thing, so just ignore that a little bit. To figure out this lore, no longer having a figurehead that gives us our main theories. And frankly, it's been like this since Security Breach. It was around Security Breach that major theorists popped up, like Rytoast, ID's Fantasy, Fnaf, and so many more. Security Breach was also the place, or rather the place where I realized it, that we as a community really started getting a grip on theorizing. No longer only listening to MatPat on everything. People really started forming their own theories. Which is a double-edged sword, because hot damn, I have seen too many whack-ass theories on Twitter. But that doesn't eliminate them as theories entirely. Every person has a different way of thinking, and it's for that reason that only one person would not be able to solve Fnaf. No matter how out there a theory is by someone, another set of eyes and another brain is always needed in this community. Even if they have a weird way of thinking, it's still nice to just, have someone else with a different viewpoint. Anyways, I've been ranting for a while now, so I'll just end it off with this. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing, because the support I get reminds me that what I'm doing isn't entirely useless. Till next time, my name is Theory. Bye-bye.